There's a man most people have never heard of. He figured out how to control the entire population without laying a single finger on them. His name was Edward Bernays, and what he created changed everything. He called it the engineering of consent. Bernays was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he took everything his uncle knew about the unconscious mind and sold it to corporations, to governments, to anyone who would pay. He didn't call it propaganda. That word had gotten ugly, so he renamed it public relations. And in 1928, he wrote a book. And in that book, he said, and I want you to hear this clearly, the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Edward Bernays, he wasn't hiding. He put it in a book. He told you exactly what they were doing. Let me tell you who Edward Bernays was. Born in Vienna, 1891, his family moved to New York when he was a baby. His mother was Sigmund Freud's sister. His father's sister was married to Freud. He was Freud's nephew on both sides, and he would use that connection for the rest of his life. During World War I, Bernays worked for the US government. His job, propaganda, selling the war to the American people, make the world safe for democracy, and he was good at it. After the war, he asked himself a question: if propaganda can work during war, why not during peace? If you can convince a nation to send their sons to die overseas, you can convince them to buy anything. There was a problem. The word propaganda had become ugly. The Nazis had ruined it. So Bernays did what any good manipulator would do. He changed the name. He called it public relations. Same techniques, same manipulation, better branding. Here's what made Bernays different from every salesman before him. He didn't appeal to your reason. He went straight to your unconscious mind, your fears, your identity, your need to belong. Bernays understood something that most people still don't. You think you make decisions based on logic. You don't. You make decisions based on emotion, and then you use logic to justify what you already decided. So Bernays didn't try to convince you a product was good. He made you feel that the product was part of who you are. He made you want it before you even knew why. Let me give you two examples. First, cigarettes. In the 1920s, there was a social taboo against women smoking in public. The American Tobacco Company came to Bernays with a problem. Half the population wasn't buying their product. Bernays consulted a psychoanalyst. What do cigarettes represent to women? The answer: torches of freedom, symbols of male power that women are denied. So Bernays staged a protest. At the 1929 Easter parade in New York, he had fashionable women march down Fifth Avenue, lighting cigarettes. He sent telegrams to newspapers calling it a feminist demonstration. He called the cigarettes torches of freedom. He hid all connection to the tobacco company. The newspapers covered it as news, not advertising, news. And it worked. Smoking became associated with women's independence. He didn't sell cigarettes. He sold freedom, and millions of women bought it. Second, bacon and eggs. Ever heard the phrase, breakfast is the most important meal of the day? That's Bernays. The Beechner Packing Company hired him to sell more bacon. Did he advertise bacon? No, he surveyed doctors. Is a heavy breakfast healthier than a light one? The doctor said yes. Bernays published articles citing medical authority recommending a hearty breakfast. He mentioned bacon and eggs as examples. Within years, bacon and eggs became the American breakfast. That belief is still alive today, nearly 100 years later. He didn't appeal to taste. He didn't appeal to price. He used authority. Doctors said it, you believed it. Now, Bernays figured this out in the 1920s, but the science has gotten much more precise since then. Robert Cialdini, a psychologist, wrote a book called Influence. He broke down exactly how persuasion works. He identified 6 triggers that bypass your rational mind every single time. Let me give you 3 of them. Trigger 1, scarcity. Make it limited and people chase it. Only 3 left. Limited time offer, exclusive access. Your brain doesn't evaluate the thing itself. Your brain panics at the thought of missing out. Trigger 2, social proof. Show that everybody is doing it and you follow. Best-selling, millions of customers, trending now. Your brain doesn't ask, is this good for me? Your brain asks, what is everyone else doing? And then you do the same. Trigger 3, authority. Put a uniform on it, put a title in front of it, throw a doctor in front of it, and you believe it. You don't question the credentials, you don't ask for evidence, you see the lab coat and something in your brain says, trust. These triggers are everywhere, in every advertisement, in every political campaign, in every social media feed. And they work because they don't go through your thinking brain. They go straight to the part that reacts before you realize it. Now, I need you to sit with some questions. Who has been using these triggers on us and for what purpose? Because here's what they understood. Dr. Claude Anderson wrote about this in Powernomics. A people who are organized are dangerous. A people who are distracted are manageable. So what does manufactured distraction look like specifically? It looks like 2 artists whose conflict gets worldwide coverage for 6 months straight, while zoning laws quietly rewrite who can own property in your neighborhood. Think about how much mental energy gets spent on every bar, every response, every diss track, while the legal architecture of displacement moves through council with no protests. It looks like the outrage cycle on social media, engineered to reset every 48 to 72 hours, so you're always reacting and never planning. Cialdini's urgency triggers don't just sell products, they keep communities in a permanent state of emergency, responding to the last crisis before they can organize to prevent the next one. Dan Ariely, in Predictably Irrational, proved something important. Human beings don't make decisions based on absolute value. We make decisions based on comparison. Whatever they put in front of us, we measure against that. So if all you ever see is consumption, your mind begins to measure success by consumption, not by what you built, not by what you organized, not by what you left behind, but by what you bought. They control the frame, they control the comparison, they control what you desire, and you think you chose it freely. That is the system. But here's the thing about systems. Systems can be studied and systems can be dismantled. So, how do we fight it? First, name it. You cannot be manipulated by something you see clearly. The moment you recognize the trigger, scarcity, social proof, urgency, authority, it loses its grip. Bernays' entire method depended on invisibility. The manipulation only works when you don't know it's happening, so learn the playbook, study the triggers, and call them out when you see them. Second, guard your attention like it's currency, because it is currency. Every minute they keep you in the reaction loop is a minute you're not reading, you're not organizing, you're not building. They don't need to imprison your body, they just need to occupy your mind. Third, invest in depth. Not more content, deeper content. Books they never put in the curriculum. Economics they never taught in schools. The frameworks that Bernays used on us that we can learn to recognize and turn around. The only way to outthink a system is to understand the mind that designed it. So read Bernays, read Cialdini, read Anderson, read Ariely, not to become a manipulator but to become immune. Edward Bernays lived to be 103 years old. He worked almost until the end. He watched his techniques spread across the entire world. He saw his methods used by governments, corporations, and movements of every kind. Even the Nazis used his book as a manual. Joseph Goebbels was an admirer. Bernays wasn't a monster. He genuinely believed that the masses needed to be controlled. He thought democracy was dangerous without it. He thought he was doing a public service. And maybe that's the most chilling part. The people running the machine don't think they're evil. They think they're necessary. They think you can't handle the truth. They think you need to be managed. The question is, are they right? Or have you just never been given the chance to prove them wrong? This has been the Hidden Hand reveal. The man who taught them how to control you is named Edward Bernays. Now you know his name, now you know his method. Now you can see the strings, and when you can see the strings, you can cut them. Stay awake.